There's only one way the human body could ever work. So, today, on the 11th of June, 2026, under In The Image Clothing Company's main site here, let's discuss some other things where we actually need to move from right to left in a right-handed world to oppose what we do going from left to right, generally being right-handed. Okay, think about this. You're doing a cartwheel, maybe, or you're stepping up a staircase, or you're riding something where you're pushing with your one foot and your other foot's on the thing that you're riding. You're like pushing off the ground, a scooter, a skateboard type thing, anything at all, though, that could be the case for. Just meaning even stepping upstairs. You know, if you're right-handed and your right side's more externally rotated, it'll just kind of fall forward. Because, well, here's a good segue, if you will. In the Image Clothing Company podcast, where we have discussions on the gospel of Jesus Christ, one of the fourths to us, you know. You don't have to be religious or believe in anything, but it's just that we're all human beings, the same thing, placed on the same earth, designed by the same God. It is what it is, the same thing for every human being, generation after generation. We're dealing with the same problems in different ways, or different problems in the same ways. The body's always the same. The earth doesn't really change. I mean, kind of, yeah, sure, but truth is always truth. What I'm saying, yeah, there's an episode of In the Image Clothing Company podcast titled Being Behind Yourself. And when your body's working proper, it's kind of like you're sitting in the back seat of your own body. You know, the pelvis tucks under us, posterior. The arches of the feet grip in and back because we've got different length 5 toes, and that's just how they pull with the musculature and the length of the bones of the toes of the feet in the universal human design. Anyway, yeah, to straighten the spine, you know, we breathe from the front of the rib cage. That's where it expands, at all the cartilage connecting the ribs to the sternum in the front. It's so much more than in the rear of the body at the spine where the ribs connect into. There's a lot of motion in the front of the rib cage. When we breathe in, we straighten the spine and we kind of go up and back, really. Being behind yourself. Okay, I'm saying that to say... Well, I'm saying that to explain that I really do know what I'm talking about, right? So don't believe me. But let's find the truth of why the body really isn't working if it isn't, how to allow the body to work. Under In the Image Clothing Company, that's what we do. Allowing the body to work, our slogan, right? On our main site here. So, anyway, In the Image Clothing Company podcast, the episode titled Being Behind Yourself, I talked about things within the gospel of Jesus Christ, but I discussed the anatomy of the human body, similar to some of the things I was just saying there, where when your body's working properly, it's kind of almost like it feels as though you're behind yourself, okay? Behind, like in the back seat of your own body. Heels on shoes, heels on man-made shoes under our God-made feet, right? Will tip your body forward unless you just compensate through bending your knee excessively and bending your spine or curving your spine, you know, in your hips also excessively. The natural bend in the knee, the natural curve in the spine. 2 video titles under In the Image Clothing Company's main site here about the body and its neutral positions. The only way it could ever possibly function, no opinion to it. It's the shape and length of the bones that determines how the human being can work. Okay, what I'm saying is a lot of beautiful documentation because this is permanent and I'll be doing this for the rest of my entire life as the founder and leader of In the Image Clothing Company. Me, Evan Strong. Evan Strong. Okay, here's the thing. When your body's not working so well, it's going to be just more externally rotated. The shoulders drop down, and they drop out into external rotation. As we discussed earlier, the collarbone of the clavicle comes up in internal rotation or down in external rotation. External rotation, your feet arches collapse. Your body leans forward. Okay, so if we're more externally rotated on the right side of the body than the left, because we're in a right-handed patterning in this right-handed world, moving from left to right. Okay. Wow. Left to right in a right-handed world. 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 Well, this video's title on the 11th of June 2026, from right to left in a right-handed world, right? That's the point. In the Image Clothing Company's main site here, Okay, if your body drops lower, if your body gets more externally rotated, it's going to kind of come forward as well, because the feet, they grip the ground and they pull in and back. And so if your feet aren't gripping well, your body falls forward. If your shoulders aren't supported well by things like the upper trapezius that pulls up and literally back to the spine and the base of the rear of the skull, then your body will fall forward. You know, and so we're more forward on the right side of our bodies. Why am I saying this? Other than it's just good context, but I was saying this for, you know, an explanation on what I was talking about with, well, the video's title, from right to left in a left-handed, from right to left in a right-handed world, on the 11th of June, 2026, today's date, right? Under In The Image Clothing Company's main site here. But why was I talking about going forward more? Well, just because, yeah, I mean, you need to be behind yourself. And so anything we're doing from left to right, being right-handed, the right side of our body is just going to fall forward too. You know, as well as falling off to the right side. So when we talk about anything at all you're ever doing, that's what I was saying. You're stepping up a staircase. If you put your right foot first, well, you're going from left to right, even though you might think you're just going from back to forward, you know, with the right foot. As you do that, you're externally rotating to the right side as well. To a degree, you'd kind of have to. Seen with context, if you step out of the range of motion your feet have at the length of your bones from your toes up to your hips would actually twist, and you'd end up being in external rotation on your right side. But what I'm saying is, we've got different length 5 toes, and so the big toe can reach farther, but the feet grip in and back. So if your big toe reaches, your foot actually externally rotates from its neutral position. That would be, yeah, you know, pronating the foot rather than supinating, and the neutral between the two. Pronation and external rotation are essentially the same thing in the foot because of different length 5 toes. So I'm gonna be doing this the rest of my life, brother or sister, whoever, you know. Good, Dante. Good. Yay. Yeah, so from right to left in a right-handed world, because, yeah, you're gonna do a cartwheel easier probably if you're right-handed by putting your right side down first. You're gonna step upstairs or downstairs or even just off a curb or up onto a ledge with your right foot first, you know, rather than your left foot. It'll be easier with your right foot if you're right-handed usually. And that's actually going from left to right, and more external on the right side than the left, and more internal on the left side, than the right. All right, but the point is, yeah, I mean, when it comes to patterning, we need to rid the patterning of things like in the eyeballs, reading from left to right,